My next guest has been meeting with lawmakers this week to tie up the last bits of detail for the market structure legislation. Joining me now on a Fox Business exclusive is Coinbase Chief Legal Officer Paul Grewal. Paul, the Commodity Futures Trading Commission has designated Bitcoin as a commodity, but the rest of the crypto space is up for grabs. What are you hearing from senators on where they stand on that key decision?
Well, what we're hearing is a remarkable consensus on a bipartisan basis that the time for market structure legislation is now. Earlier this year, the Congress passed a historic bill on stablecoins that was signed by the president, but the job is not yet finished. What market structure legislation will do is not only define much more accurately and appropriately which assets fall to the federal securities laws and which assets fall to the commodities laws and other applicable laws, but also provide clarity on the manner in which companies like Coinbase, issuers of various cryptocurrencies and others can properly come in and register and operate within the framework of United States law.
When you folks at Coinbase are sitting in the conference rooms, are you crossing your fingers, hoping that it will be deemed a commodity versus a security? Because the regulatory bodies are different. If you're a commodity, then it's the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, which is it's a bit easier or different than the Securities and Exchange Commission, which has to be extraordinarily tight in its ring fencing.
Well, there are different laws that apply to different types of investments, and crypto is no exception. We take great heart that the chairman of the SEC, Paul Atkins, only last week confirmed that the vast majority of digital assets or cryptocurrencies, in fact, are not securities. But it's important that there just be clear rules for answering that question when it comes to new projects, new currencies, and new technologies. What this legislation will do is end the historic practice over the previous 4 years of regulating these issues through enforcement actions, lawsuits that take years to resolve, cost not just companies but customers millions of dollars, and ultimately leave everyone guessing at answers to questions that should be resolved by the Congress.
We do have some news that broke in the last hour that somewhat seems to move things along. The Agriculture Committee just moved along, and they voted for the confirmation of Michael Selig to run the CFTC. And this would be interesting here. He is very much pro-crypto. He understands the space. Where do you stand on him being in charge of this organization?
Well, Mike Selig is an outstanding nominee to serve as the chairman of the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, and we're delighted to see that he has now passed out of committee and hopefully will soon get a vote on the floor so that he can take office and help move forward on critical rules for crypto that will be necessary even with this legislation. It's heartening to us that we're seeing people with deep subject matter expertise being considered for these positions. It's even more heartening to see that they're being advanced and hopefully confirmed in short order.
I'm looking at Bitcoin right now. It is at 86,000 and change here. Are we seeing the beginning of what we haven't seen in a long time, Paul, and that would be the old crypto winter? We've seen a huge amount of money exiting some of the spot Bitcoin ETFs. I believe $500 billion was pulled out of the iShares IBIT ETF just last week. So there are a lot of concerns about not just Bitcoin, but everything else. Are we seeing a crypto winter descending? Which wouldn't be a shock. I mean, it's happened before, but not in a while.
Well, it has been a while. And I think that for those who are newer to crypto, these changes in market sentiment can be sometimes a bit jarring. But for those of us who have spent years in this market, these types of cycles are nothing new. And I think that the vast majority of investors in not only Bitcoin but other digital assets have a much more long-term view. They see the potential, they see the opportunity that comes from the development of this crypto economy. And they also are, I think, excited by and see great promise in crypto emerging as an alternative to the traditional financial system, which for too long has excluded too many Americans from access to basic things like credit and other basic financial services.
Paul, it is a sector in flux and growing constantly. These growing pains come in fits and starts. We'll be watching all of the developments. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
You bet.